Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Weather and Radar meteorologist Becca Parker. We're going to be going over the winter storm, the first big winter storm for the southern and eastern U.S. for 2024, and really for the eastern U.S., something we haven't seen in quite a while with the last couple of years, how the pattern's been going. So a lot of you that are hoping for snow, we'll dive into just how much we're expecting and where. There is going to be some ice details. We are going to have also rain details because this is a big system and it's tapping into just about everything, the warm air, the cold air, and we're going to go over all of it today. If you do have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. I will be checking them throughout the live today as we go over things so that you can get the latest information. And I know a lot of you have received your winter storm warning, winter weather advisories, winter storm watches. I've seen you at the grocery store. So, we are really keeping an eye on this system. And I know that you want to be as best prepared as possible for this system as it moves through the southern and mid-U.S. today and then gets into the East Coast tomorrow. So let me double check to make sure everything looks good on my end. Perfect. Okay, sweet. So what we are going to start off with, I want to introduce you to the WeatherRadar, and that's what you see right behind me right now. The WeatherRadar is the best tool that you can use to watch the storm over the next couple of days to see where exactly the snow is going to fall, where the rain's going to fall, and the intensity of both of those things as well. So you can see here, it's really popping up here. We got some snowfall happening right here across the mid-Mississippi Valley, the Central Plains, and some heavy rainfall moving across the lower Mississippi Valley right now too. So let's zoom in here onto what exactly this looks like. And I'll go over exactly what these are here. So the blue colors, that's the rain. If you are on the warmer side of this storm, you are likely going to be receiving rainfall. And you're seeing that right now across the lower Mississippi Valley. The darker the color, the heavier the rainfall, and we go from light blue to dark blue to even purple for those heavier showers. You can see the heavier showers moving here through Lake Charles right now in southern Louisiana as well as central Louisiana. And we've got some lightning too, some thunderstorm activity happening. And we're going to get into those areas that are really needing to be aware of the severe weather threat coming with this as well. And those of you that are in the Central Gulf Coast, really through southeast Texas all the way through the Florida Panhandle, you're going to be watching out for some thunderstorm activity today as well as possible severe thunderstorms. Further north here, the colder side of this storm, so as this low pressure storm does churn, it's moving in a counterclockwise direction. It's able to pull up moisture out of the Gulf of Mexico northward, but then it's tapping into also that northwesterly flow on its northern flank here, bringing down cold air from Canada and from the Arctic. So it's tapping into that to create snowfall as well. So we're seeing some Wichita snowfall here all the way through Kansas City. I know it's just past lunchtime over here, and you're going to want to keep an eye on this through the rest of the day. I know it's Friday, maybe you're leaving early to get your weekend started early, and your commute is likely going to be snowy across this area, so you're really going to want to pay attention here in the next couple of hours. But we do see the same thing. So with the lighter colors, that is just snow showers. With the heavier colors, we've got some heavier snow happening, which can also cause a lot of issues with driving, with your visibility and things like that. I'm going to double check for questions before we move forward here. Awesome. Alrighty, so that's what's going on with the storm currently. It's really going to ramp up here over the next 24 hours and become well organized as it does move across the southern and then into the eastern U.S. So let's take a look at what exactly that looks like. You can use the WeatherRadar right on your Weather and Radar app. I'll pull it up here on my phone here on what that looks like, because you can use this tool throughout the entire storm and you can see exactly where it's snowing, where it's raining, what to expect over the next 4 days, because we are going to be talking about heavy storm system coming in for the early to mid next week as well. So this is just the preview of our winter storms that, are going to be moving through a lot through this winter. So you really want to be prepared and have the best tools at your disposal so you can get to know that. So you can see here on the weather radar, right on my device, I'm able to watch it right there and see the next 4 days here as well. And you can see the lightning as well for those of you that are receiving thunderstorm activity. So that shows up on the weather radar too. So let's take a look at what the next several hours into tomorrow do look like. And as you can see here, let's zoom out real quick for the entirety of the U.S. Winter has arrived, hasn't it? We've got snow activity happening in several spots here from the Rockies all the way through the upper Midwest and then down here into that snowstorm system. And then we got the Pacific Northwest also getting in on that action as well. So plenty to work with here. When it comes to this snowstorm, we're going to be seeing it develop better over the next several hours into tonight as it moves eastward and really picks up the ante as it goes eastward. So let's take a look at what that looks like. These are the next several hours here. This is getting into the evening time tonight. We see that rainfall move into the central, deep south area, into the Tennessee Valley, and then even snowfall move up here further into the Midwest as this really takes shape. So this heavy rainfall is going to be continuing, and you'll see that snow start in here into the deep Appalachians, in the southern Appalachians and northern Georgia area. We got some snowfall that's going to be happening into the higher elevations from Georgia northward in those Appalachians. So we have some snowfall happening here. This is 4 a.m. Central Time tomorrow, 5 a.m. Eastern, and snowfall is starting to show up as it does move into the Carolinas and the Mid-Atlantic. So what we see here is the blue for the rain. We've got the pink for the snow, but you're also seeing this orange color here too. That's the ice. We want to pay close attention to these icy part of the system too, because we could really see a 1/10 to a 1/4 inch of ice for those areas that can expect to see it. And what that can do is cause power outages, can make the tree limbs drag, and which can cause more power outages, slick road conditions. So if you're traveling over the next 24 hours, you really want to pay close attention to what advisories, watches, and warnings are out, and pay attention to the weather radar too, so you know the timing that's best to head out onto the roadways. And honestly, it's a pretty messy system, so my advice is stay home and enjoy maybe a cozy day. But if you really do need to head out, please have those tools at your disposal, just so you're up to date on everything and you know exactly what's coming towards you, moving away, and you can make your plan accordingly. So this is early tomorrow. This is early Saturday morning. We've got some snowfall here on the colder side of this storm, and with temperatures just hovering at the freezing point here in Indianapolis, and then in the upper 20s here further north into Michigan and lower Wisconsin and the Chicago area too. So definitely see the colder side of this storm as well. But as it does move to the east, northeast, Roanoke here, you're starting to get some freezing rainfall and sleet as it does move into this area. This is 7 a.m. Central Time, 8 a.m. Eastern. This is 8 a.m. Central Time as well, 9 a.m. Eastern. So we're getting to the early morning hours. Snow has started here across the Appalachians, and we're also seeing that heavy rainfall move across the southeast too, with a little bit of thunderstorm activity as well. So I want to show you, before we get too far into this, let's show you what exactly the National Weather Service is calling for this storm system. And I want to double check for any questions before we move forward. Okay, awesome. Let's go ahead and transition to the map. All right, so I mentioned earlier how winter is here, and oh yes it is. We have got winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings, winter storm watches, stretching from the west coast to the east coast. So winter is here, everybody. And we've got that storm system that is causing the winter weather advisories here across northern Arkansas, and then also eastern to central Kansas here too. So that was including Wichita, which you're seeing that heavier snow right now. And this is going to be moving out throughout the evening as it does move east. But what we really want to pay attention to here is along the Appalachian line and northward into the northeast and interior New England here. We've got some winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings, and winter storm watches stretching up all along here. So what we're going to be seeing from this storm, in addition to the wintry mix, the icy weather, we've got the sleet, we've got the snow coming down as well, freezing rain possible. It's going to be a very messy system. So we've got the severe weather happening as well. I mentioned earlier how we've got that the thunderstorms that are happening here across the lower Mississippi Valley, and that's really going to stretch from southeastern Texas into the Florida Panhandle and really far western coast of Florida as well. And this is just west of Tampa that we're seeing that marginal risk. That marginal risk is a level 1 out of 5 on the severity risk scale when it comes to the thunderstorms here from the Storm Prediction Center. And what this means is we could see some isolated severe weather activity. And our main things we want to keep an eye out for are tornadoes, especially along the coast here. If you get any water spouts and those move ashore, that's something you're going to want to watch out for. In addition to that, heavy gusty winds are also possible with this system. So gusty winds, isolated gusty winds, 57 miles per hour or greater, which can cause power outages. Pick up anything that's outside. If you've still got holiday decorations outside, make sure you're either bringing them in or you're also making sure they're nice and secure. They're tied down so that you don't have to worry about those flying off, and either losing them or causing damage somewhere else. So just make sure that everything is secured for these thunderstorms that are going to be moving through tonight. So starting this afternoon, it's already in the lower Mississippi Valley, moving eastward through tonight and then tomorrow. We also have some severe weather possibilities tomorrow as the storm does move eastward. So we've got Florida in the area that's going to be seeing that marginal isolated severe weather risk as the storm front does move through. So heavy rainfall, severe weather, including possibility for tornado and gusty winds. So this is going to be a messy system across Florida as well. So Sunshine State, not so sunny tomorrow as the front does move through. So let's also take a look at that flooding rain risk. We've got a marginal risk basically across the same area that is seeing that severe weather risk, where we have the heavy rainfall possibilities today through the overnight. This is really till 8 a.m. Eastern tomorrow morning. And we could see areas pick up about 2 inches of rain for the most part in these spots, isolated areas, but some spots, very localized spots, could see up to 4 inches of rain. And I know that these areas have seen some heavy rain recently, also going through some drought as well. So the ground could take some time to soak in any of that rainfall. So just give it a chance to soak in before heading outdoors. Remember, turn around, don't drown. If you come to a flooded roadway, you don't know the flood that the water has completely washed out the roadway underneath if you come to it. So make sure you just turn around so that you don't get yourself into any trouble or anybody else in any trouble as well. This does extend into tomorrow, where we see that heavy rainfall. And I'm going to show you on the weather radar too, what this is tricky about this storm is where the rain snow line sets up. And what I mean by that is where we're seeing temperatures conducive for snowfall and for rainfall, and where we're going to be seeing a line basically across the mid-Atlantic here and into the northeast that will either see just rain or rain and snow, or just snow. And it really is a tricky forecast when it comes to winter weather forecasting, especially for this system, because we've got the low pressure that's going to be tracking here across the southeast into the mid-Atlantic, bringing that warmer air in off of the Atlantic, but also meeting up with the colder air coming down from the north. So it's tricky. So we're going to be going over that now too. Let's go back to what the forecast is looking like for tomorrow. I'll show you a good example of a rain snow line here. Those of you in Washington, D.C., you know about the D.C. snow hole. Sometimes you don't get snow. And it looks like it's going to be staying pretty warm, I say warm, just above freezing. So unfortunately, the rain snow line is going to be northwest of you. And we're going to be having temperature. It's going to be a cold rain, temperatures in the upper 30s for tomorrow as the storm does move through. But that rain snow line, it's it divides that area. So really from northwest Baltimore and then westward into the Appalachians too. But we're going to be seeing some snowfall here pick up. And this is 1 p.m. tomorrow, Eastern time. And that snowfall is going to spread through the Appalachians here up into the Ohio Valley and lower northeast area. And we're expecting to see 3, maybe to 6 inches across this area here. And we could see that start as early as, let's pull this up. So we got the mid-Appalachians here, the middle Appalachians, starting around 9 a.m. tomorrow. Got some snow moving in. And then once we get into the lunchtime hour tomorrow, Maryland and Pennsylvania are going to be starting to get into that snow area as well. Even ice. We've got the ice showing up here in the higher elevations in the orange color here as well. So let me check for any questions before we move forward. Wonderful. Alrighty. So yes, 3 to 6 inches of snow in this area. Otherwise, heavy rainfall across here. We saw that marginal risk, that level 1 out of 4 for heavy rainfall spreading from the Carolinas to the interior, the coastal New England area as well. So as the low does track across the mid-Atlantic and back out into the Atlantic, that snow does spread further north into the lower northeast area. This is tomorrow, about 6 o'clock Eastern time, where we got some heavy snow. Remember when I said earlier we got some darker pink? It's going to mean heavier snow. This is your time to stay in, have hot cocoa, sit by the fire, and just enjoy the view from indoors, because this is going to be some heavy, wet snow across the area here. And we're looking at, for the heavier snowfall areas, we're looking at 6 to 12 inches really across this area here. So Scranton, just south of Albany here, could really see 6 to 12 inches of snowfall. So big snowfall amounts across this area. And we're going to be seeing that continue through tomorrow night as the storm does move out into the Atlantic. New York, you really stay on that rainy side of that rain-snow line and all across the coastal areas of the Northeast here as well. Yeah, let's take a look at temperatures too here. Let's look at the temperature radar. This is available to you on the Weather and Radar app as well. And you'll be able to see what exactly the temperatures are in this area. Now, you'll see in some spots that they're getting snow, but maybe on the ground it's like 36 degrees. That can happen. That can very much happen when there is colder air aloft and the snow is able to make its way down. However, it could mean that there's not going to be too much accumulation in that area. So it can mix in, but then eventually change over to rain, which is the likelihood for a lot of these spots here along the I-95 corridor where that rain-snow line is going to be setting up tomorrow. So you can see the temperatures here across the temperature radar as you're moving throughout tomorrow. Temperatures are staying pretty warm here across the Carolinas, the coastal areas of the Carolinas. You got 60s, near 70 in Charleston with the storm moving through. So you're going to get some heavy rainfall in that area. Alrighty. And let's double check too. I'm going to show you what Sunday looks like for this storm as it's moving out. So we've got some heavy snowfall continuing to fall here across the northeast, and that's going to continue throughout the day on Sunday. This is really early Sunday morning that you're going to be seeing that heavy snowfall, and we've got some Ohio Valley, Appalachian snowfall as well, and some remnant showers here pulling across. This is as that low churns in a counterclockwise fashion. It's pulling down this cold air, and it's able to support too, because we've got moisture availability, able to support this snowfall here across the area too. So this is Sunday, and this is Sunday afternoon. We're going to be continuing to see some heavy snowfall pull across the northeast here, coastal areas, and you're going to watch that temperature drop to just west of the Appalachians as well. So going to be some pretty wintry feelings here across the area by the end of the weekend. Now, I mentioned earlier how we are going to be seeing another storm gear up for the beginning portions into mid next week. Now, the areas that are going to be in the mid-Atlantic where you might be getting snow, it's going to be warmer here. So you might want to pay attention to some heavy rainfall forecasts when it comes to that storm system as it sets up for next week. But let's take a look at what that looks like on the guidance at this moment. Take a look at the models. Alrighty, here's the first model. It shows our current storm system moving across the area. As you can see, it pulls out there. But then we've got another storm system. We've got this storm system right here that is going to be pushing across the front range and bringing up, same thing, bringing up that moisture out of the Gulf of Mexico, supporting the rainfall. And on the back end, we've got some heavy snowfall moving across the Rockies here due to the low pressure bringing down that cold air as it moves counterclockwise. And we're going to be seeing, this is a larger storm system that you'll be seeing here pull up onto the weather radar once within your 4-day view. You've got this low pressure really coming across here, bringing extra heavy rainfall in the same spots that are seeing heavy rainfall today. Something you want to note is we're probably going to be seeing some more activity for flash flooding in these areas because of the recent heavy rainfall. So this is next week that we're going to be wanting to pay close attention across this area. But as you can see, so the green and yellow colors here do indicate rainfall. And this is heavy rainfall here across the southeast into the mid-Atlantic. And this is a warmer system only because the low pressure is trending northward further. So it's able to bring up that warmer air out of the south further north, and really just pay attention to the snowfall here across the Midwest and then eventually into the Great Lakes here in Ohio Valley. So that's what we've got to pay attention to for next week as well. Alrighty. So yes, when it comes to the snowstorm for this weekend, pay close attention to the weather radar. Check out those colors that are going to be showing up on the weather radar, whether you're getting rain, snow, or ice. Remember, the blue is going to be the rainfall, the pink is going to be the snowfall, and the orange is the ice. The ice is going to be the big thing when it comes to travel tomorrow. You really want to pay close attention to the ice accumulations in an area because it'll make the roads slick. Not in addition to having snow, it'll make the roads slick, and it will also cause power outages, which those are expected as well. So if there are no other questions, thank you all so much for joining me. We're going to be keeping you updated throughout the day today, as well as tomorrow with all of the storm system moving across the east and into the mid-Atlantic as well. So keep it right here so you can get all your latest updates. Make sure you have your notifications switched on so you can get your winter storm alerts right on your phone and on your devices that you choose. Thank you so much and have a great day.